Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back for another dose of Doctor Who Nightmare Fuel. It's time to jump back into the classic series for my first Jon Pertwee story, my favourite Doctor, and it's a cracker. The Demons, or the Daemons, take your pick because the story uses both, is the final story of the Master season of the show, Season 8, which introduced Roger Delgado as the Doctor's best enemy in Terror of the Autons, and he came back as the big bad in every story that season. The Demons is perhaps the best of the bunch though. This is possibly the closest you'll get to a Doctor Who story made by Amicus. Well, other than the Cushion films, of course. The aim of the game here is witchcraft, the dark arts, and the devil himself. Or is it? The story takes place in a quaint English village named Devil's End. There's a live broadcast going out one night where a TV crew and a professor are going to roll back a stone underground beneath a mound of earth named the Devil's Hump. The Doctor hears about this and rushes to the scene, but the stone is rolled just as he arrives, and the icy forces from within freeze the Doctor into a state of paralysis, barely clinging on to life. The Master is afoot in the village as the new vicar, Mr. Magister. Oh, you mean Magister as in the Latin for master? You're so crafty. He's recruited a cult of worshippers who, within a burial chamber, perform rituals to summon the demon Azal. Azal is said to be a horned beast 20 to 30 feet high that looks like the devil himself. Here begins a debate that was also touched upon in the Satan Pit in Series 2 of the new series. There's a constant argument between magic and science in this story, science being on the Doctor's side of course. It is said that every culture has a horned beast type symbol for evil or demons or devils, and Azal's species, the Daemons from Deimos, are what inspired that kind of iconography throughout the history of the universe. We don't actually see Azal until later in the story, but just look at this fucking thing. This would have absolutely put the shits up me as a kid in the early 70s. A giant horned devil with piercing glowing eyes and sharp teeth. This is one of the show's most frightening monster designs ever. There's also the creepy image of another being summoned up by the Master, a stone statue named Bok, who caused mayhem in the village. Itself demon-like, Bok is a classic character for all the wrong reasons. Though nowadays you can clearly see him as a man in a grey leotard, Bok inspired fear in a lot of young children back in the day and remains a cult character in Doctor Who history. The Frozen Doctor is revived by the fact Azal can produce enormous levels of heat, again adding to the fire and brimstone style aura the devil figure possesses. And now it's up to the Doctor and unit to beat the Master and save the day. Naturally they do, this is Doctor Who of course, but a few moments come close to defeat, such as when the Doctor is held captive by the villagers and threatened at gunpoint. The villagers are all dressed up as maypole dancers, which gives me Wicker Man vibes, even though this story predates the film. In general, the Demons has a strong folk horror flavour about it. Rural England, small village, opens up with a dark stormy night in the wind and rain, devil worshippers, sacrifices, rituals, black magic, witches. The only things that feel missing are Cushing and Lee. The Demon slots in perfectly with 70s British cult horror films by the likes of Hammer with a Doctor Who twist. And even though science helps to explain the supernatural here, it's the supernatural themes that are mostly taken away from this story, on top of two terrifyingly memorable villains in Azal and Bok, and the Master up to his old sinister tricks. And let's not forget a time when the Doctor was at his closest point to actually dying. This one is a real classic with the fans, and was a hit with Pertwee in particular, who cited the Demons as his favourite story that he worked on, and it remains popular all throughout the fandom. In 2009 it was voted the second best story of the Pertwee era, and even saw unofficial spin-offs with 2004's Deimos Rising featuring Kate Lethbridge-Stewart no less, and later Damaris Heyman reprising her role as Miss Hawthorne, named White Witch of Devil's End. Clearly then the Demon stands as one of Doctor Who's most beloved classics, and a lot of that love spawns from its fear factor. What do you lot think of the Demons? Let me know in the comments below, and unless you want to be frazzled by Azal, why not consider smacking that subscribe button in order to spare yourself a sacrifice. I'm Connor from Unleash the Ghouls, and I'll be sure to see you somewhere in time and space for another Doctor Who dose of Nightmare Fuel. Azal! Azal!